Does the elimination of Kyle Larson indicate the urgency to go win all season long and the strength of the playoff format? Or is this the weakness of the playoff format because the former champion is out?
Joe, Kobe, you know where I stand on this issue. I guess it depends on who you are and whether or not you like the system. If you're here for the entertainment, you're here for the chaos, then absolutely it's a strength. But the defending champion couldn't even get out of a second round. What a true underdog story for the rest of the field. Guys, Kyle Larson is third in points right now, a straight up points battle. If you tally up, I guess he fell to fourth today with his bad finish, but he entered today third in a straight up points tally entering this race. His teammate Chase Elliott, I know we talked about during the summertime how there was so much parity and all these different winners, nobody can pull away. Well, now Chase Elliott has 5 wins. I mean, he's not as far ahead as Max Verstappen is on the F1 side of things, but it's looking like at this point he should be far and away the championship favorite and quite honestly should be the champion for 2022. We'll see. Obviously, he's won one at Phoenix before, so we'll see what happens when we get down there. But Kyle Larson being third or fourth in points, you would think that he would be borderline making it into the championship 4. If the system worked, if the system had all these strengths, it would likely come down to him in a battle between a couple of others to get into one of those final championship 4 spots. And you could maybe say, well, maybe he comes up just short and he misses getting out of the round of 8. He didn't even get it out of the round of 12. This is a guy that was so dominant last year, has still had a very solid season this year. And he's not one of the final 8 that has a shot to win the championship, despite the fact that he's been a top 3 or top 4 driver all throughout the year. I have a problem with that. And I have a problem with a lot of the thing. I mean, Joe, you brought up the sign. I know we were talking about this backstage before we came on the air. You know, there's a good chance that the race goes caution free to the end. We don't have any of the, spins or mayhem that we saw during the overtime finishes. I mean, why don't we just paint the signs? Why don't we just paint the sponsors on the walls and not have to worry about signs falling off or signs being glued to the walls? Or, I think that the extra money to invest in the paint would be worth more than to, have a questionable late caution for a sign that's partially out of the groove, but maybe not all the way. I don't even know where to keep going here. I mean, there's just so much that happened in the closing laps today. And Kyle Larson is now out of a championship hunt because of a weak toe link. You could say a crappy you-know-what part. I won't directly quote Kevin Harvick because I know it's a family show here. But there's so much we need to work on for next year. And I know that the playoff system is not going anywhere, but the next-gen car, it cost Kyle Larson today. And he's somebody that I think should be a championship 4 contender based on how he's run this year. If the system worked, he would be there. And he didn't even make it to the round before that. And I have a problem with that.
Yeah, Ben. There's certainly a lot of problems to go around, and if you saw Kyle Larson's post race interview, he didn't directly blame the playoff format. He was just I guess taking the politically correct answer. I didn't do well enough this year to put us in the position to advance deep into the playoffs. And it really is, and it's still surprising, even with this format, seeing how Kyle Larson, yes, he's not having the type of season that we saw last year where he was the favorite to win every single week. This year, not so much. And now Kyle Larson, he's just going to be going out there for pride and try to finish the year as strong as he can. It was just a really, really crazy ending there. It seemed like it was going to be a relatively tame, mundane finish at the Roval, and then NASCAR got the Game 7 moment that they were looking for when they installed this playoff format, where they want to see absolute chaos and drama and try to make it must see TV. Because before this caution, Christopher Bell, a race winner, he wasn't going to be able to advance, and caution comes and it shakes up everything. And I really believe that this was that Game 7 moment that we're always talking about on this program.
Something like a full season championship should not come down to the lottery of when a caution falls at the end of the race. I mean, that's the biggest problem I have here. Like you mentioned, Kobe, Christopher Bell was in trouble. The caution came out for something as seemingly innocuous as a sign falling off, and that completely changes the entire season. I mean, what more do you want me to say? It's ridiculous.
Amber. So happy Kyle Larson is out. So somebody is a little bit on the more positive side. I guess maybe they like the playoffs. The longer the chase stays, the worse NASCAR gets. But what's funny is the chase ratings are always low since 2007. A day in the life. The sign falling was a sign the race was going to get crazy. And they're still coming. NASCAR TV are all for ratings. Yes, the chase ratings got lower and lower. That stays. Make it make sense.
Just to follow up on a couple of those, Ian, I don't think it's a coincidence that you look at the ratings declining and how the chase format, playoff formats continue to evolve. I think you're spot on there. And Amber, I would ask you, is that just personal bias? You're not a Kyle Larson fan, or are you a fan of the chaos of the playoffs, and it doesn't matter who it is? You like seeing the fact that an underdog is taking a playoff spot away from the defending champion. I'd like to get an answer on that if you're still here in the chat room. Maybe we can have that conversation.
I wanted to respond to something Ben said about this being a family program. I want all of viewers to know that that we're rated G for a Grid Network.
Well, on that note, Kobe, Grid Live Encore is rated E for everyone, so we'll keep with a similar theme there, or maybe E10. You do see a little bit more of a sassy side of me sometimes in the Encore show, so maybe we'll go with the E10 rating for that one. But yes, we do try to keep it, so the families can enjoy our Grid Network programming here. Hey everyone, I'm Ben Schneider. Thank you so much for watching. Before you go, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Grid Network highlights and analysis. And for full episodes of Grid Live Encore and other Grid programming, subscribe directly to Grid Network.